So recently I've been studying Job, and it's really given me a different outlook into pain, suffering, and grief, particularly in friendships. So we read in the scripture that Job had three friends, and when Job was going through grief and pain, his friends came to his place, they sat with him, they were with him through that time. And at upon reading that initially, I was like, wow, these are good friends. These friends are there for Job. They sat with him in his pain. But we later continue to read the scripture and we see that the friends start to kind of give their own advice or give their own reason as to why Job was going through this pain. And instead of it causing Job comfort, it caused him more pain. And it just made me reflect, as believers and as in our friendships, how are we supporting our friends during their time of pain, during a time of grief, during a time of suffering? And it's a really difficult topic because sometimes you don't know what to say, sometimes you don't know what to do, but it's really important that you pause and ask your friend. It could even be you asking your friend, how can I support you in this moment? Sometimes we think they need all of the scriptures, they need all of the scriptures sent to them, but that might not be what they need in that moment. Sometimes when you, let me give you an example now. You have gone to bed and the lights are off and you're just in the dark. Somebody comes into your room, turns on the big light and wakes you up, and it's almost like, when you go from really dark to light, it can give you a headache. It can be quite straining to your eyes as well. Maybe think about that in the sense of your friendships, that your friend is going through this and you've just come with all these scriptures, come with all of this, and that might not be what they need. Right here I have a little tea light. Maybe all they need is a little bit of light, a little bit of encouragement. Oh, I'm praying for you, I have you in my prayers. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they don't need the big light in the room on. Maybe they just need a little light. And it's important to assess that, and asking your friends could be a way to understand what they need in that moment. But there is also some times where your friends don't know what they need. Sometimes you don't know what you need. And times like that, it's important to really seek God and say, God, which is what Job's friend didn't do, is to seek God and say, God, my friend is going through this right now and I don't know what I can do to help them, and they don't know what they need in this moment. So Lord, please reveal to me how I can be a blessing, how I can be a light to my friend, how I can encourage my friend through this season. And God will reveal that to you. God will speak to you, and you'll be surprised that what you do will be what that friend needs in that moment. And maybe it is that they just need a little light to shine. Maybe they don't need the bright light in the room. Maybe that's too much for them at that time. Eventually the big light will be what they need, but maybe they just need to start with a little light. So it's just a food for thought to just, in our friendships, in our relationships, to assess and to pause when it comes to things like sensitive topics around grief, pain and suffering, because it can be hard to manage. You might not know what to say to your friend, but we are called to be a light, we are called to encourage. But it's important that we don't we don't overdo what isn't needed at that moment. Maybe they just need a little light. But in all, God's light will always shine and will be there for them to lift them through the dark seasons, through the dark valley. They will go into the light eventually. So yeah, it's just a food for thought. I hope it does encourage you, especially around this. And just for those that are, going through a difficult time, through pain, through suffering, through grief, I just pray that the Lord will comfort you during this season, that the Lord will be your strength, the Lord will be your peace, and the Lord will be your joy, and that God will bring the right people around you. And if you are that friend that has a friend that's going through something and you don't know what to do and you don't know what to say to encourage them, I really pray that the Lord will guide you and speak through you so that you can be a light and be an impact into your friendships and into your relationships. So God bless you all, and I hope that gives you some food for thought.